Money, 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 money. You want to start a business. You want to start a business, you want to be an entrepreneur, do something, but you actually don't have the capital. So lack of social capital is one of the main challenges that immigrants face, when they are targeting, career or going into not just career alone, as to specifically now, those that want to go into business, you want to go into business. Lack of social capital is a problem, and finding access to the right people can also be very, very helpful. And networking with people can also be very helpful to you as an entrepreneur. It's not just somebody that's trying to go into getting the job that maybe network is important to. It's also important to somebody who is trying to go into entrepreneurship, because people who are already into what you're doing, they might have an idea how you
obstacle that I will face. Let's say I want to go into business as an immigrant in this country is capital. I know they have to be more than just the capital, because the capital, it's not just going to fit only immigrants, it's going to also face other people coming into business. So with something like a language barrier be an issue, with something like having the right demographics be an issue, because I'm just thinking
I think one very important thing that Blessing mentioned, he described in detail, is actually the professional licensing and the state or even local government permits that might be needed. He mentioned Otto, for instance, which he didn't tell us the name of his car. I don't know, maybe he's selling too much. His car business. He didn't say his name.
Top brand Auto LLC.
I'm not hearing it at the back. What are you saying?
This is a platform to tell us about
Doctor.
What's the name of the website?
The doctor's menu, I think that's the name of the website. I can check. I can't remember. But I actually ordered from Austin. I ordered Cheeto and
from Austin, Texas.
It's still in my fridge, bro.
And they delivered it to you. Just like that. Wow. That's,
you know who did not Felicia now.
Blessing made me his apprentice at the time. Just you guys might not know this. So what I'm saying is, that was when I also discovered I had a passion for cars. I'm just saying, this was not something that prior to coming to the US, I wasn't selling cars. I wasn't even interested in the auto business. But my relationship or communications with Blessing and seeing how he goes about the process, apprenticeship under him, though the guy don't pay me, there was no better. Hello guys, it's good to see you again. Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, wherever you're watching this from. You're welcome to another episode of the McBleny Podcast. This is a continuation of the episode we started last week, where Blessing was able to precisely give us a ton of information right as an immigrant, either you're an F1 student, trying to come into the job market, that you have an advantage, a cultural advantage. It could be language, it could be cultural norms when you're actually applying for a job. He also highlighted some more salient points about what you can also do if you're actually going through the F1 route, or even as an F1 you want to do a business, that there's also a way to a way to go around it, which is you can actually be an investor without actually be involved in the day-to-day running of the business. So let's not just think that having an F1, you just have to be on that OPT part alone. I think within the US, it's also allowed for you to actually invest in stuff. So you can also be an investor and be able to invest in entrepreneurship or businesses where you already have other entrepreneurs. And for the guys that are actually coming in as investors, not as students, he also said a little bit about some of the pertinent informations that can actually help you be able to do that. So today, he's going to talk about some of the common barriers to actually being an entrepreneur in the US. And it's not only going to tell us about the problem, it's also going to provide solutions about some of the ways or strategies you can actually use to actually overcome those barriers. But before I hand over to Blessing, I want to say this again, guys. Please subscribe to the podcast or to the channel. Share this video because we want to reach as much persons as possible. We also want to hear from you. Please send us your feedback, drop your comments, and if you have important topics you want us to address, please also let us know. Then we can also take it up and use that as one of our episodes moving forward. So, Blessing, please hand over the mic to you and give us another informative section.
Yeah, absolutely. Hello, everybody, and welcome again to another episode. And this episode, certainly promises to be very, very, very interesting. And I think every single person would be able to benefit much more than you actually think or expect, from this particular episode. Like Mark said, the previous episode, we talked about, how you can take advantage of your culture and your language into breaking into career or breaking into business here in the United States. But today in this particular episode, we are going to talk more about some of the barriers that immigrants would face. You're thinking about breaking into the job market, and you're thinking about using your cultural leverage, to break into the job market or to start a business. But Blessing, it's not easy. It's so difficult. How there are so many challenges, and I don't even know how to go about it. We understand that. We know all of this, and that's why we want to, have that conversation today, on some of the issues and some of the things that we think people would face. You probably have not even thought about it, but it's important that we talk about it now, so that you can always have a solution before you get to before you even get to that problem. Number one, money. You want to start a business. You want to start a business. You want to be an entrepreneur. You do something, but you actually don't have the capital. So lack of social capital is one of the main challenges that immigrants face, when they are targeting, career or going into not just career alone, as people specifically now for business. Because for career, you probably don't even need social capital, but for business. Now for career is networking, lack of good network may be a problem. And those are one problem in two different pieces. But I'm going to break it down, gradually. Now, let's start for those that want to go into career. You want to network. You don't have the right network. You're applying. We've talked about this, in prior episodes, how networking is very, very important. The people the people you meet, having access to the right people. You need mentors. You need collaborators. You need people that you can always look up to. And how can you find these people? You're coming out as we talked about this in the previous episode, for somebody that is just graduating from school as an immigrant with an F1 visa and trying to get into the job market. How can I get into the job market? Can I break into the job market easily? One of the key things that you need to do is to have mentors and, link up with people that are within your field and are succeeding, people that are leaders in your field. Where can you meet people like this? You can always use LinkedIn, and then you can always use Eventbrite and Meetup to look for where people within your industry are having like a meeting or having industry specific meetups. Go to conferences. You go to conferences that are geared towards your specific industry, your specific field. When you go to places like this, you always find people that are working in your field, and also organizations. In some of these conferences, you actually find organizations that are like sponsors. They are always there. Places that you are thinking about applying to, you will be able to meet some of them over there and have a conversation with them to actually ask questions like, hey, my name is blessing, and I have been following your industry for quite a while. And in fact, I'm actually interested. I've thought about getting an opportunity to work, within, your industry. This is what I do now, and would like to know, what opportunities are available and how I can actually take advantage of such opportunities in your industry. You have that, conversation with them, even if you think you're not ready yet, maybe as a student or after you graduated as a student. So that is very important. But LinkedIn is one that you can always use. You don't have to travel anywhere. You don't have the money to travel. You can always, sit in your home and through on your computer, meet different people. Not meeting up by just following people who are working in your industry alone, but actually initiating conversations with them. So you follow people who, and connect with people who are within your field, and also initiate a conversation. Introduce yourself. Let them know that, oh, you're just a student that is just graduating, and you've been looking up to them, and you love what they are doing in your field and how they've advanced in their career, and you would like to have them as maybe potential mentors, and learn more from them. Fine. Sometimes some of them may not respond to you because sometimes when people who are already at the top of their career, they are very busy, so they may not respond immediately. But some other times you'll find people that respond, and when they respond, make sure you respond back to them as well as quickly as possible. It could be an email. Some people may find it easier to actually communicate via email. So always find whatever works. And make sure that you use that to build your network. Of people that are within your specific career. Now, for those that want to go into business, you want to go into business, lack of social capital is a problem, and finding access to the right people can also be very, very helpful, and networking with people can also be very helpful to you as an entrepreneur. It's not just somebody that's trying to go into getting the job that maybe network is important to. It's also important to somebody who is trying to go into entrepreneurship, because people who are already into what you're doing, they might have an idea how you can raise money, how you can raise funds. They may be able to tell you that, okay, for this our industry, these are places that you can access funds. And the government have a lot of grants that they provide. If you go to grants.gov, the government have a lot of grants that they provide for people who are in maybe consulting or in businesses that can maybe in specific niches. So if you go to the website, you can find, look for specific grants that are tailored towards your area of interest, your business of interest, and see how you can access those grants. It might be loan. The government, they have the SBA, SBA.gov as well. You might be able to access loans, from the government.
Listen,
and
for the SBA,
yeah,
what do you need? Is it just your credit score and business registration, or?
Yeah, so in SBA, to access loans from the SBA, these are low interest loans. Normally if you go to the bank, you may at the current rates now, you may be getting 6%, 7%, 8% or more. But SBA, they try to make it as low as 3%, sometimes 2 or even 4%. What you need is, of course, your business, is registered. You have your EIN, and then of course they also check your credit score, but they do not require your credit score to be very maybe as high as 600. Sometimes, most times actually, they consider people even in the 500s or below the 500s. Some other businesses they actually consider people that are also that don't even have credit at all, depending on how much you want to access. But of course, if you want to access capital of $100,000 or $200,000 or more, then they want to actually see more things from you as well. And they usually don't require any form of collateral, because this is like a government sponsored loan. And they also give you a longer term, some loans they can give you as long as 30 years to pay back. some as long as 20 years to pay back. Of course, it doesn't mean that you have to wait for, spread it for that long. When your business, does well and you're able to get the money, the earlier you pay it off, the better for you, so that you can, that you don't have that debt hanging on you. Although for some other people as well, they believe that debt is a king. How did they put it? Like,
the debtor is slave, is that way?
No, like debt is powerful. As a business person, you can use it to your advantage. That you don't have to always pay off your debts. You can always use it to your advantage. Especially there are ways that you can use debts as a tax advantage. But that again is a topic for another day.
I just wanted to add that I can't remember if we said what SBA is, but we kept saying SBA. It's small business.
Small business administration
loan. So I just wanted so that someone can. I can't remember define what.
Yeah. So I'm trying to crystallize this as a listener. So I think if I understand what Blessing has been saying, is the most common obstacle that I will face. Let's say I want to go into business as an immigrant in this country is capital. I know they have to be more than just the capital, because the capital, it's not just going to fit only immigrants. It's going to also face other people coming into business. So with something like a language barrier be an issue, with something like having the right demographics be an issue. Look, I'm just thinking about it now. So let's say I want to start a food business, and I'm in Cincinnati, where you don't have a lot of Nigerians, right? So that's a dilemma already, because unlike Atlanta, where you have the competitive advantage because you already have people that you can actually sell the product to. So in a place like Cincinnati, in a place like Delaware, in a place like somewhere else in the Midwest too, maybe Wisconsin, maybe Milwaukee, right? So as an immigrant, what do you do in situations like that, where it's not just having access to capital? What are the other obstacles that you might face if I want to do a business? And what are the steps that you think that I might be able to take to be able to overcome that?
Yeah, so there are other first of all, being in an environment like that, where the people who are supposed to be your primary beneficiaries or primary clients or customers, where you don't have that kind of population in that niche, then, or in that community or in that city, then that is a challenge already, right? Because you're thinking about, okay, I want to start this business, but the people that I want to serve, I can't even find them in this particular place, right? So you would have to think about other things you can do, but still you want to reach out to these people, you still want to do this particular business, then other ways that you can access that or you can be able to do that may not be through food now, you can still go into food, but maybe not prepared food. You can now try to look at ways how you can maybe be shipping, using opportunities like maybe shipping and maybe creating a website where you produce some of these items, and then you advertise the website, and people outside that community who are who speak the same language or the same culture as you, but not in your city, will be able to access it. For example, I made an example earlier about clothing, making specific wares, So you live in that city, but you want to be producing clothing based on African, some African themed clothing. You can put it online. Use other platforms, Instagram, TikTok, to advertise. So that's why I say your clients don't have to be people who are living within your community. Your clients can be everywhere, and in fact, using all those other social media platforms actually helps you to create a global market. Where you can reach people who are in other states and other cities and even other countries, who are interested in your product. Now, for the food, to create a restaurant, of course, for you to be successful, then you have to be sure that you are creating a restaurant in a community where you have the people that would actually be able to patronize you.
Where you have the market for it.
You have the market for it. Yeah. But in a situation where you don't have those people there, how about, for example, you have people who make or create some of this food and then they ship it. If you go on Amazon, you can purchase all on Amazon. You can purchase. My case eats.
Are you talking about prepared food?
No, not prepared food now.
Wait, I actually have a perfect example, and it's actually prepared food.
So okay.
Yeah, please share.
When you finish.
Okay, so
yeah.
So
the point that for me, the one I'm making now is not prepared food because your market is not in.
You're talking about raw materials, like
raw food,
pando, flowers, and the things you can purchase on Amazon. Now, before any shares that, so that I don't take so much time. Sorry for this. I'm trying to say like a novice, right? What are the things I need to do if I want to come into business? So I know you guys already mentioned EIN. I know you guys already mentioned having a business license. Are there something else? Are there other documents that I need? I know you can go on Google and Google how do I get a domain name, a business name, and so we don't need to go into other information. I'm just saying, are there other checklists apart from getting a business license? Apart from possibly when you get a business license, you get an EIN name. Is there anything else apart from these two things?
Yeah, I think it will depend on the type of business you want to do. The needs that you are will depend on what other things you want to do. For example, as an auto dealer, I sell cars.
Mm-hmm.
So one of the things that you need as someone who sells cars, outside having the business name and having your EIN for, the other thing there is you need a license, the auto business license. Mm-hmm. In the state of Georgia, I live in Georgia. So if somebody that's living in the state of maybe Texas or South Carolina, you will need a license for that specific, for that state. So which is different from just having your business registration. Business registration is with for example, in Georgia, you're registered with the Secretary of State's office. Then you have the used dealer's auto license. Used auto dealer's license. Mm-hmm. So they have like a board that is got, is in charge of people who are into used autos or anything, whether you're selling cars or selling parts of cars. You will need specific licenses for that. So that's why I say depending on what business that you want to do, and then also you want to, is it something that you know about, a business that you know about? It's always good and important for you to do something that at least you have a little knowledge of, where if you do not know, like you said, if someone as a novice do not know anything about a business and you want to go into it, of course you can dabble into it. But if you have a mentor or somebody who is already into the business that can help you and guide you, okay, this is a new business you are going into. The mentor has been into the business. This is someone that has already been into the business, and whether they are living close to you or they are not living or they are living far away from you, find a way to connect with them, and they can help you to navigate through the issues that you are going to face. Otherwise, you will throw a lot of money into the wind. Sometimes you may need some permits from your city, as well, depending on the business. For somebody who's into the food business, you need permits from the city where you're living, for you to be able to run that kind of business.
Possibly of health, maybe,
Yeah, Department of Health through the, I think I've forgotten a specific unit under the Department of Health, that they go and do inspection. They actually have to come and do inspect your restaurants.
Yeah.
To be sure that you are meeting certain guidelines.
Okay.
Yeah. So depending on the specific business that, you want to do, or the specific area that you want to go into, that will determine, what you need. But fundamentally for everyone, one of the things you want to do is to make sure you're registered. Now there are some other self-employed people that are going into self-employment, but don't necessarily have registration. You can, as an individual, if you don't want to create like a business entity, specifically, you can also do your business. Maybe as a self, I can't remember.
Sole proprietorship.
Sole proprietorship, yeah. Thank you. Sole proprietorship. So you can also create that niche. However, you have limitations on some of the things that you can do as a sole proprietor. And then especially if you're trying to access funding, it might be difficult for a bank or some other organization that gives funds to trust you or this or give you fund if you're just a sole proprietor, but if you have like a registered entity, you are registered with the government, with the state and the federal, then you have like structure, they feel like you have a structure, and then there's more trust in, with that. Another thing also is creating a bank account, a business account. You don't want to be putting your money or business money into your personal account. Yeah. So if you're applying for a grant or you're applying for, some kind of funding and a request for your bank account, most times they want you to send them a business account, not a personal account. And because that's, in fact, at that point, they may, if you send a personal account, for funding, at that point, they actually may deny you. Yeah.
Yeah, so just to be clear, so proprietorship, you don't need to register it as a business entity, correct? If I understand what you guys are saying,
you would register it.
You can register it.
I think you can also do. You would register as a person, but you can also do business without. Yeah, that's essentially the case. But me, I would say just register. LLC is not just basic, just find a way to do it. Of course, it has its own implication. I don't think we can even really go into what
all of that. Yeah,
it's a bit just but just know there's LLC, there's sole proprietorship, there's partner, there's all those things that you can tap into. I think one very important thing that Blessing mentioned, he described in detail, is actually the professional licensing and the state or even local government permits that might be needed. He mentioned auto, for instance, which he didn't tell us the name of his car. I don't know, maybe he's selling too much. His car business. He didn't say his name.
Top Brand Auto LLC.
I'm not hearing it at the back. What are you saying?
This is a platform to tell us about top brands and
Yeah.
So Top Brand Auto, Top Brand Auto in Atlanta. Please patronize him. Excellent cars. Wherever you are in the world, you can get cars from him. I think that's very important. The local licenses that might be required for the particular profession. For nurses, for instance, AGM, home health agencies. They have their licenses. Auto, like you mentioned, have their licenses. So the example that I was talking about, which interesting,
which
is very, very interesting.
I can get food from
shout out to the doctor's menu. The doctor's menu in Austin. What's
the name of the website?
The doctor's menu. I think that's the name of the website. I can check. I can't remember. But I actually ordered from Austin. I ordered Cheeto, and
from Austin, Texas.
It's still in my fridge, bro.
And they delivered it to you. Just like that. Wow. That's
who did not Felicia now.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
No. So that's what I'm saying. Like, essentially, people are thinking creatively about what they want to do. That level, like anywhere. So you can go on Amazon. So when you were using the Amazon example, I was like, yes, you can go on Amazon, check out the doctor's menu, your exquisite Ghanaian dishes, whichever you want, wache, everything.
You are kidding me.
Bruh. I'm telling you, 2 days I can't, it was just like your regular Amazon, ordering, you get it and that kind of a thing. So I think people the food
wait, did it come frozen?
No, it's not. It's well packed. It was. There are kind of packs.
How do they preserve it?
There are kind of packs. I think they have specific packs, specific shipping pathways for those kind of things. Okay. So maybe they. I don't know the people that are shipping. I don't, let me speak to what I don't know. Yeah. But I got the food not in Duam, like very.
So the food with the taste. Makes sense.
Waste. Taste like say they chop on for house.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Yeah. So I think the broader principle, underlying principle is for what people are passionate about, they find ways to make it work. Yeah. And she also was an immigrant, and she's able to get to that level where anywhere you are, at least in the US, I believe you can order and you get your food that you want. She's also, and I think one of the things that just to take it to the next level a little bit, maybe Blessing would get there. is trying to market your business as an immigrant, and this is where sometimes, depending on the business, websites, of course, we mentioned that, but also the networks, how you are in your local community, or if it's something that is online. In the case of Felicia now, the doctor's menu, I've seen her on a TV station in Austin where they actually showcase,
man,
I know,
don't go far.
Maybe small thing, dressed in that Ghanaian dress and all that. Be small. It was huge. Yeah, but at least you can, to whatever extent how creative you can think about it. You're going to spend money as the case may be, but I think being able to achieve that, bring out something that you have maybe passion for, that you're just good at, and you want to try, you want to push. I think that's very, very important as well.
All right, just to crystallize, I know because of time. So the things Blessing mentioned, some of the barriers, capital, language could be a barrier, but you have to make sure you have the right market. And some of the way to overcome this, he gave us examples of some of the low interest loans that you can actually get to start a business. Small, you guys call it SAP, small something.
SBA.
Small business. Yeah. So I'm not very good at acronyms. Small business
administration. Federal government agency. Yeah.
Okay. Then he also mentioned doing a lot of research, whereby, especially if you're a novice to the field, you want to be able to do your legwork, which of course is common sense. They also mentioned the role of mentorship or having an apprenticeship. Because what that does for you is it gives you a prior experience into what you want to do. And like Annie was mentioning, passion matters a lot. You might see things that you actually want to do this. By the time your apprenticeship on that rate, and you're like, oh boy, I don't think this is kind of business I want to do. Now, classical example, I'm going to say Top Brand Autos. Blessing made me his apprentice at the time. Just you guys might not know this. So, because we need to advertise and market. So what I'm saying is, that was when I also discovered I had a passion for cars. I'm just saying, this was not something that, prior to coming to the US, I wasn't selling cars. I wasn't even interested in the auto business. But, my relationship or communications with Blessing and seeing how he goes about the process, apprenticeship under him, though the guy don't pay me, there was no better. What?
When they pay apprentice,
The express was worth it. So the express was really the payment, to be honest. But at least, he made sure that I was straight in terms of transport and food, which is very important. I think it's similar to what they do in Nigeria too. When you do an apprenticeship in Nigeria, the organ make sure so you they chop every day, you they get transport to go back home. So anything where you learn about the process, you should be able to use that to better yourself. So I think those are the things that he mentioned, and I think that's for me what the key learnings for me, and I hope that the audience too will be able to see or perceive the same information that I did, I just want to keep encouraging the audience to subscribe, like and share to as much as many people out there, to your friends, to people that you think might actually need the information, and also feel free to comment and will reach back to us. We're always open to communicating with you guys. I will always also appreciate the subscription so far. So I'll leave it to you guys.
Yeah, Blessing. I have points that I want to add. And I think this is not very looked at, but it's something that I've seen work, especially for students going for case competitions on campus. So I did at Georgia Southern. So at typically most schools will have it at their business schools, once a semester. So there was this guy who were doing student job together, we just said, let's go, we registered, and the weekend, okay, come. It was two of us. We met one guy there, said, you didn't have it, join us. So we presented, I think the entire, they had about 20 groups that weekend. So from that, throughout that Saturday, I think throughout Saturday, you develop whatever your idea is. You have mentors walking around. You just make you do that. And the following day, then everybody started presenting throughout. So we presented. We didn't win, but the interesting thing was the idea was very good. And in fact, the person that organizes it, she said she's been thinking of how to implement the idea then, which is connecting student businesses to external external customers.
Yeah.
So which is what we presented. So she now invited us. This way was really interesting. The local commercial businesses, they have meetings. So she invited 4 of us, our group was one of them, to come and present to guys. These are guys that have businesses. In fact, some people came from Savannah, that kind of
wow.
For us to present to them. And afterwards, they spoke to us and things like that. So you see how the thing can continue to go. If it was something we stuck with and we were together, and so that's a way. And I also know of Abayo RX All. He also, with his business, which is huge now, he started with this case competitions at Yale and stuff like that. So these things can help you to crystallize your ideas. You have people come in, they've been doing business. In fact, the mentors they were working on, I said, what are you guys doing? You have to quickly tell them what you're trying to do. They just say, oh, this makes sense, you need this, you're like, the thing moves like from whatever fluff is in your head, it just becomes clear, like, oh, this thing can make sense in that spot. And when you also you see what other people are doing, develop prototypes that weekend. I was like, how? That kind of thing. So they had prototypes that they went on to work with. So I also attended. I didn't present at Texas A&M, McBleny Center, still like related to the business school. So I think it's like a business school thing where they kind of just have it. So I've attended competitions there, and people presented their business. Some of them are still trying to do their business even from there. Some of them actually win money, and investors actually. The Texas A&M one is actually a bit bigger because Texas A&M is in Texas, is one of the biggest universities in the country. So guys actually come. Some of them actually say they also presented when they were students 20 years ago. So one guy that was sitting beside me was saying, "Oh yeah, he presented blah blah." I said, "Oh, okay, that's really good." So I think that's an avenue to begin to test your ideas at least before
before execution.
To test, crystallize, and you never know how that can work out. So like case competitions, of startup. I've forgotten the name of whatever it is, the specific name, but they have different names, right? So I think that's to leverage, and from there you can see networks. You can find people that can help you. Maybe you have an idea, you need a developer. You can find folks that are just full. They have like team of 6 people. 3 of them are developers. That kind of. So you find
that can help to
that cross fertilization of ideas, and also you can move things forward. I think it's what maybe some of us don't explore very well, because what you also find is mostly you don't find a lot of international students there. That's what I also noticed in those places. You don't find it. So I think that there are places to explore, because things can happen there. Maybe this other one is, we kind of alluded to it in the previous episode, content creation. And I would want to view content creation beyond just making videos and all that, because even as a student, right? If you engage on LinkedIn, there's an article, you ask a question. I've seen people do that. They ask questions like, I understand this portion, but what happens with this? So you find people, they come
making contributions.
So that person is already kind of establishing themselves in some ways, even though they're still students, but people, they have that record that people can look back and see how they are engaging, right? So, I think that's one way that I've seen people engage. And what now happens is, whenever they now have a job, there's a job application, they already have, it's like this thing already creates an image of you in some ways where beyond your CV, which everyone has. You see the issue nowadays. Everyone has always had CVs, but it's like there's so many CVs.
The skill sets are pretty similar now.
So, and people want to see that other side of you so they can make a better informed decision. Another way this happens is, especially in IT, they ask for your portfolio. What projects are on GitHub or wherever, things that they've done, dashboards that they've created. There was one girl I was talking with, she actually predicted the price of Google stock like 6 months ahead, and she was really kind of close to it using some methods and all that. If you say you've done these things beyond your CV, she's a data scientist by training, then someone is looking at you very, very differently, right? Of course, and speak to it.
Yeah, absolutely.
This is great. But of course, podcasting too. People do, like, I know some people that did study public health, and they are able to, maybe they pick a niche, that is maybe social determinants of health, and they just build around it. So in that way, it gives them that eventually
recognition,
influence in that small space, and people know to relate with them. Now this works for both job and business creation as well. That person I'm talking about actually is also a consultant for public health services kind of thing. So once they already have that, then it fits into that. Even if it was a job they were applying for, they can say they have this, and that way it's maybe put them as an advantage. And I think it's something we should explore more. Even me myself. Maybe one content creation that you guys will laugh is publication. It's also content. Making publications is actually, in fact, it's the key content, especially within our space.
Yeah.
Right? People want to see your publication, what type, what level, what journal, how recent, all those kind of things. Those are the way people look at these things, so that they use that to give you, whether you can do the work that they want to give you or not, as the case may be.
That's awesome, man. I think back to one of the examples to give, I think LinkedIn actually has a way where they recognize people who produce contents in their field, and they give you something, I don't know, maybe like a badge or some kind of certification, especially if you're always talking about public health and global health specifically. But I think I know someone who, she's always, contributing, talking on global health issues and, creating materials on LinkedIn, on global health topics. And she got recognized by LinkedIn, for, I can't remember, maybe I will check again to see what they call that specific recognition or so. Or like, it's more like a badge that this person is one of a leader. I think they call him like a leader, in this field, in this area. So it's also, very, important, going back to.
Yeah, thank you, Blessing. What I also want to underline is the fact that the person is recognized by LinkedIn as a leader doesn't mean that I don't know, but what the algorithm is doing is slightly different from what the common perception of leader is. Someone that is like maybe 20 years, they've done.
Yeah, I mean,
the person might just be posting regularly on that thing. The algorithm will do its work and will recognize.
Yeah, understand that they have understanding on that topic or that field. More like experts on this on the field. Based on their contributions.
Yes.
To
LinkedIn.
General public. Yeah. Yeah. So thank you, everybody. I think it's been a nice conversation, and please, like Mark said earlier, please subscribe, like, and we want to get feedbacks from you. Your questions, your own examples, and things that you think we can, other people can learn from. Please just share. Please share, and subscribe, like, and thank you again for this wonderful episode, and we hope to see you in the next one.
All righty, guys, this was fun. I enjoyed it. Bye-bye.
Bye.